Here, Melissa Duggan, Stephanie Henry, Sid Sixero in studio. Devo Brown, Frank Ferragini, pardon me, on the Odyssey. They have just set sail on the waters of Lake Ontario. And we're going to bring everyone into this conversation because yesterday's news cycle was quite the Odyssey.
Indeed.
Prime Minister, thanks, Janine. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his wife Sophie Grégoire Trudeau, after 18 years of marriage, formally announced their separation. In a brief statement issued by the Prime Minister, he said that after meaningful and difficult conversations, the pair have made the decision to separate. They were married in Montreal in about as high-profile a wedding as you can get in this country, May 28th, 2005. They have 3 kids. This part, I think, is important. The Prime Minister's office, because there's some legalities to this, he's a sitting Prime Minister after all, they released a statement saying that the two have signed a legal separation agreement and have worked to ensure that all legal and ethical steps with regards to their decision to separate have been taken and will continue to do so moving forward. Because Frank and Devo are literally on a kind of an island right now. I want to go to them and let it breathe on their end. Frankie, I want to start with you. What are general thoughts on the story here?
Well, general thoughts are sadness, first off. I'm always sad for a couple that can't work in a marriage because I think about the kids as well. Yes, indeed, he is the Prime Minister. I read some of the comments on some of the posts that were out there about him, and marriage is difficult, his job is difficult, and I just wish that some people out there wouldn't share an opinion about a relationship that they have no knowledge of. I lived that world. I went through it. Separation is incredibly difficult, and it's something you never want. You never get married to get divorced or married to get separated. I know he's our Prime Minister. You may not like him, but he's still a human being as well, and he's got a family.
That's it. It shows the human side of it, right? You experience this again, and look, you look at marriage rates and divorce rates and things like that. These things are going to happen after 18 years. Frankie, you're telling me, some of the people that you know in your world.
Oh yeah, like it's over 50% in my world that I know of people that have had divorce. So this happens.
It happens, and unfortunately, that's what it is. But it shows the human side, as you mentioned, and people become savages, guessing, saying, "Oh, we know this about certain." You don't know anything, man. And
what do you need to know?
And then there's questions: can he do his job? I heard that in a report. Yeah. Is he going to be capable of being Prime Minister? This is an emotional time, but it's not something that is just happened yesterday. This is something that they've been going through for a while, as most people that go through that understand. It's not something that is just one day and it's done and you just announce it. It's something that's been going on for a period of time. So they've been going through this for a while. So can he do his job? I'm going to say yes. And if he can't, I feel like he is going to be the type of person, I hope, that would say, hey, I'm having a hard time with this. I need to step back.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of our thoughts right from here on the Odyssey. But there's so much and so many different layers and levels to this conversation.
Yeah. Guys, good stuff there. Let's bring it back in here, but stay with us, please. Back to you, Steph. I know we've all kind of chewed on this a little bit. What else do you want to add?
Yeah, like I said, I went through when I was 9 years old, my parents separated, and I can only imagine how difficult it is for the kids. Like I automatically think about the kids and what they're going through.
Trudeau's youngest is 9.
Right, and I remember how it was for me going through that, and to see it on a world stage is a lot, and then also to see all the comments, because I did this exact same thing as soon as they announced it.
But that didn't surprise you, did it?
I did not surprise me
that there were yahoos all over Twitter.
Not at all. I feel like Trudeau can be very polarizing amongst Canadians, and those comments definitely proved that. I just hope, for the best for them and their separation, and for the kids. That's who I'm thinking about, and I hope that, they're able to kind of make it through.
For sure.
In one piece.
There's so many angles here, Melissa. What else do you want to bring?
There is that judgment, during the not so easy times, through the divorce, their separation they're going through right now, and through the good times. I was thinking back to their photo shoot that they had in Vogue back in 2015. Do you remember that? This photo came out, and he had his arms wrapped around her, a very intimate photo.
Not gonna lie, it's a pretty good photo.
It's
a good photo.
Pretty sexy. There was big backlash to that in Canada, that we're seeing a Prime Minister in this way. But you know what? Their interview in that also opened them up to us talking about their relationship.
Yeah.
They talked about their first date. He was 31 and said, I've been waiting for you for 31 years. We're going to spend the rest of our lives together. They burst into tears on that first date. So you can only imagine how revealing this stage of their relationship to everyone, I'm sure is very hard.
It's very difficult. And I'm sure it's going to maybe make them make him even more relatable because as we noted, 40%
Yeah.
of marriages end in divorce,
Yeah.
and a lot of people in this country have gone through that. So
For sure.
it's definitely going to make it more relatable.
For the kids' sake, I was hoping this happened earlier this summer. School's a month out. This is still going to be pretty fresh for the kids.
Yeah.
Adults decide separation, kids don't. So I did think of that yesterday on their behalf. The last thing I'm thinking about is we're going to hear from the Prime Minister eventually
Yeah.
in front of the media.
Yeah, what's he going to say?
Considering his poll numbers, considering the noise around Pierre Poilievre and his future candidacy for Prime Minister, I think the topic of where his head is at is completely relevant here because he's going through a lot. And I would like to know, and I think a lot of people in this country would like to know, and I think it's fair, is he interested in running again? Because he has done 3 of these as Prime Minister. It's not easy. Clearly, there's a family toll here.
Yeah.
Is he interested in still being the leader of the federal Liberal Party?
I would say yes. Can I tell you why quickly?
I just would like to know because I understand if he isn't. Go
I
ahead.
think it is quickly just because he's announcing it far ahead of an election that we could see. So there's plenty of time to forget, move on.
Yeah.
I think it's time
All
for
right.
that.
Fair enough. Keep the feedback coming because everyone is talking about this.